celebration. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. Into a crisis times when I'm lying in bed just to get it.
Good morning, happy Monday. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. Happy anniversary, my love.
Happy anniversary. We hit a milestone. This is a big one. 25 years.
25 years.
Do you remember 25 years ago how you were feeling on our wedding day?
I was feeling at peace.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
On the wedding day, we had, after the planning and all of that, and, it's, I feel peace.
The only thing I remember sort of not being peaceful about was our florist, who had kind of jerked us around a couple days before and jacked up some pricing and stuff. But on the day of, she came through and we worked it out. But I remembered that last minute little bit of anxiety, like, is she really going to be here? Are we going to have flowers?
Yes.
Because she really had sort of right at the last minute given us a curveball.
So I'm going to put you on mute here for a second. Our guests for the next segment are here.
Okay.
We actually have people coming in, so I need you to go let them
You
in.
got it.
And they should be around back. In the meantime, it was a big weekend for news, as it always is. We're getting closer and closer to the election. More things are coming out. And there was a story that came out today that Elizabeth Warren has done her DNA testing. And she's like 1/512 Native American. So she does have Native American blood in her, according to this DNA test. And she's hoping that this will put to rest any of the speculation. I think the president's still going to call her Pocahontas. Well, Pocahontas, but he even gets the joke wrong. It's supposed to be Pocahontas because, she looks as Native American as I do. But yeah, that happened this weekend. So, yeah, that happened this weekend. So we are excited to have with us some really terrific folks. They're going to be here at 6:20. Actually, they're actually here in the building, but we'll be interviewing them at 6:20. It's for a program called Growing Hope, and I'll tease that a little bit here. Growing Hope is a program where, well, let's just say it's happening at San Andreas High School in San Bernardino, giving some kids some real hope and some real focus on the future, which is really terrific. Good things happening in the San Bernardino City Unified School District. But real quick, I want to do a story. In-N-Out's billionaire president, she said she was over, and that's her word, over by age 22. Lindsay Snyder overcame struggles to get where she is today. For many West Coasters, In-N-Out is the burger chain. Hard to find in big cities, but revered for its low prices and fresh ingredients. Now meet Lindsay Snyder, the 36-year-old who battled drug and alcohol abuse, sports Bible verse tattoos, and is married to a race car driver. The kicker, she's In-N-Out's president, just listed by Forbes as the youngest woman among America's richest 400 billionaires. Her net worth is $3 billion. Sporting black combat boots and piles of silver bracelets on each arm, she's also a traditionalist. It's not about adding new products or thinking of the next bacon wrap this or that. We're not making the same burger, the same fries, she says. We're really picky and strategic. We're not going to compromise. All this fits in In-N-Out's history, a curious mix of tradition and dangerous living. Opened in 1948 in Baldwin Park, California by Snyder's grandparents, the chain was led by her uncle for 17 years until he died in a 1993 plane crash. Snyder's father, Guy, then became, or Guy, depending on how you pronounce that, then became chair despite his drag racing and opioid habits. He survived 3 overdoses but died of heart failure at age 48. Snyder, meanwhile, went through 2 early marriages and substance abuse. It was like a black sheep era of my life, she says. By the time I hit 22, I was pretty much over. But all that forced me to be stronger. Taking the reins in 2010, she saw the company's value grow to nearly $1 billion as it expanded into Texas and Oregon, but Snyder still sticks to the basics. No frozen meats, no microwaves, no heat lamps, no franchising, and no IPO. It's not about the money for us, although she's doing pretty well. Unless God sends a lightning bolt down to change my heart miraculously, I would never sell. And apparently their model is working for them. They're talking about In-N-Out, Tobin. Their model is working for them.
Yeah, I love In-N-Out, and I was actually looking at this article. She's been through so much, Aaron. This whole family has. Kind of wild, right?
Yeah, but clearly they're a family of risk takers.
Yeah.
They started this burger chain. It takes, you have to have a bit of fearlessness to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
This idea that, come hell or high water, you're going to make it work. It's going to work.
They're kind of the anti-McDonald's, right? I mean, McDonald's had all this fabulous growth and really focused on the marketing and creating an image. And In-N-Out just sort of said, we're going to do this one thing, we're going to do it really well, and we'll grow when we grow.
Yeah.
And that model has actually played out very well for them.
Well, McDonald's burgers. The benefit of McDonald's was that no matter where you were in the country, if you went to a McDonald's, you know what you were going to get.
Oh, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But I mean, back in the day.
No. But I remember when I went to Australia, and to find a McDonald's, it was like you had a feeling like you were home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, isn't that sad? Because their food is, it's changed over the years, but it's still not what you would call good dining, good food. It's familiar, but it's not, it's not In-N-Out's quality.
Yeah, but it's funny. In-N-Out's like, well, we don't want to go everywhere,
No, we'd rather be here and do it really, really well. And I like that they've not franchised, because part of the challenge with franchising is you lose control over the quality.
Yeah.
So...
very true.
So you pick the next one, Tobin.
Oh, I get to pick the next one. Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me see here.
How about a bottle of wine?
Oh, yes. This is an amazing story, Aaron. I love the headline. You're drunk, go home. Someone paid $558,000 for a bottle of wine. And when you first told me about this story, I thought to myself, first off, these people are idiots. Secondly, you pay all that money, you can't drink it.
No, you can't.
Now that you've spent that much money, it's no longer about being able to actually enjoy the wine. You can't drink that because you literally are drinking $558,000.
So Sotheby's unloads a bottle of 1945 Romanée Conti for more than 17 times the upper limit, shattering the record.
It's crazy.
It's the furthest cry possible from $3 Chuck. No kidding. A bottle of 1945 Romanée Conti, one of just 600 bottles produced that year by the maker of what's considered France's best Burgundy, has sold for an eye-popping $558,000 in New York on Saturday. The wine was made just before the vineyard was uprooted for replanting, and Sotheby's called it rare and wonderful. Sky News gives that price a little context. It's 17 times the upper limit that Sotheby's had expected to fetch, and soundly whips the previous record for a standard bottle, which was $233,000 for an 1869 Chateau Lafite Rothschild in 2010, or a 3-liter bottle of $310,700 for a 1945 Mouton Rothschild in 2007. It wasn't the only bottle to break a record that day. Another 1945 Romanée Conti fetched $496,000 shortly afterward, while Macallan 1926 whiskey went for $843,200, the highest price ever for a single bottle of booze.
I'm so sorry. These people, there's something wrong with people when they're spending that much money on alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I said, it's not about drinking it at this point. Now it's about just telling people, I have this bottle that I spent $500,000 on. It's ridiculous.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. Sotheby's is just an auction house, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they went to a charity event and they spent all this money because it's going to help buy a new wing of a hospital to save children with cancer. No. This is, I'm just spending a lot of money because I'm spending a lot of money.
Yes. Well, and the fact that they spent the money now suddenly makes this somehow better than other wine. I don't think so. It's wine, Aaron.
Well, it is better than other wine.
Really?
It is better than other whiskey. Yeah, it is.
Says you. How do you know? No one's going to open it.
Because, it
could be vinegar in there and nobody would know or care.
It tastes like Easter egg dye.
Because they're not going to tell you. I spent it's the best wine ever, even though it tastes like vinegar. They're not going to tell you. It could be nasty wine, Erin.
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that, Tobin, because it is, at this point, it's Schrodinger's wine.
Yes, it is.
Because
Thank you.
You don't know what it is until you open the bottle, but you can't open the bottle because then you lose all that money.
Exactly. And now they're going to have to make those big insurance payments to protect this bottle of wine that's worth like $500,000. Because what if somebody steals it? Or what if it accidentally gets dropped and breaks open or something? So you know the insurance on it's going to be ridiculous. This is like the price of a house. You're going to be paying homeowner's insurance for a bottle of wine. It's bad, Erin.
It's her anniversary. I want you to buy me one of these.
Oh, there you go. 25 years of anniversary, and I got to spend $500,000 on a bottle of wine that we can't drink.
I would be so mad at you if you did that.
And we can't drink it.
Yeah. Well, and we like wine. I like wine. And then I've had some bottles that I've just been, I wanted to crawl into the bottle because it tasted so good.
You recently spent the most we've ever spent on a bottle of wine.
And it was only $65.
$65. and we kind of looked at each other like, wow, $65 for wine. I don't know, but we both really liked it. We were at wine tasting with some friends and family.
We went to the Bailey Winery. We talked about this on the air. Went to the Bailey Winery in Temecula and really enjoyed ourselves. Although I was going through that tasting a little quickly.
Yeah.
She give me a taste and I drink it, and then I want the next one. Come on.
They had some nice wines there.
They did.
But $65. I mean, that was a big spend for us. And we will drink it eventually.
Well, we'll drink it at Christmas.
Yes.
Or Thanksgiving.
We may auction it off.
Really?
See what we could get for it. How much do you think we could get for it?
$65.
You don't think we could get like over 100? What else? 17 times the value. What's 17 times 65?
Oh my gosh. Really?
We can maybe get a bidding war going between somebody and somebody else.
When they could go down to Temecula and get their own bottle?
Don't tell them that. Tell them it's rare.
It's
the only one in our kitchen.
It's the only That's the only one in our kitchen. That's great, Tobe.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, so with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
Re-elect Riverside County Sheriff Stan Sniff on November 6th because Sheriff Sniff will keep our families safe. Let's keep a proven and experienced leader in this critical office as he continues to modernize our Sheriff's Department by integrating technology tools for his deputies and dramatically improving their training and equipment. Vote for experience, proven leadership, and integrity. Vote to re-elect Riverside County Sheriff Stan Sniff on November 6th. Paid for by Friends of Stan Sniff 2018.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here with some important information about debt, your debt. Whether you have a first or second mortgage, you're looking to buy or refi a home or rental property, or just need to consolidate your credit cards to lower your payments and save some serious interest, you need to do some loan financial planning with Steve Alladort, my mortgage man at loanfinancialplanner.com. Now, Steve's not your garden variety mortgage broker. He actually spends time evaluating how you can use the current super competitive interest rates to pay off your mortgage early, purchase a rental property, improve your cash flow, upgrade to your dream home, or even help your kids or grandkids get into a house. That's what loan financial planning is all about. Steve's been helping me and my listeners for over 2 decades, and I can tell you he is the best finance guy in the business. Go to loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Or call Steve Alladort at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Micho Acana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from C's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the Mall with a Heart.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California, we are KCAA.
disregard. Handful of complaints, but I can't
Welcome
help
back.
it.
I'm Marion Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So excited to welcome to the show two outstanding students from San Andreas High School and in San Bernardino doing an incredible program called Growing Hope. And let me turn down the Lincoln Park there, although I could listen to that the whole time. So I'm going to let these gentlemen introduce themselves. Tell us about yourselves. Who are you?
I'm Alejandro Mendoza.
Wait. Okay, so say that again.
I'm Alejandro Mendoza.
Okay.
I'm Brandon Guerrero.
Brandon Guerrero and Alejandro Mendoza. So what grade are you all in?
Oh, I mean, we're graduates.
You're graduates now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, I'm considered a freshman now.
You're a
I
freshman?
think, yeah.
Okay, and where do you go to school?
San Bernardino Valley College.
Awesome.
I think we both do, yeah?
Yeah.
And so, Alejandro, you're a freshman at San Bernardino Valley College, too?
Yes.
Awesome. And you went through the Growing Hope project, or you just received or you received a scholarship, or both?
I received the scholarship, yes, for Valley Bound. And as well as Brandon, he received a similar one, the first year experience.
Yeah.
So we have some friends whose kids went through with the Valley Bound program, and that is, it's mentorship, it's scholarships, it's programs to help you really succeed in college. Are you enjoying that program?
Oh, yeah. It helps out very well because one requirement is for us to be enrolled in a student development class, and that helps us develop as a student, obviously. But it helps us learn tools and learn skills that we're supposed to have outside of school and inside to help us become a better student and to learn the best we can.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys are lucky to be at Valley now. It feels like it's a brand new campus. They built all those new beautiful buildings, and the football stadium is really nice now. It's just made so many upgrades. It's a gorgeous campus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. By far, it is. I think the one thing I don't like about it is that I have to walk everywhere.
Yeah, that's university life, folks.
Right.
Or college life.
That's why some colleges that you see all the kids are on bikes.
That's
because
right.
These campuses are so big, they just ride their bike everywhere.
Bikes
on
or
campus.
scooters or whatever they can get.
I ride a skateboard, but I fall on my face all the time.
Oh, no. You're the guy on the skateboard in the hockey mask.
Oh, hell yeah, maybe.
So tell us about the scholarship that you got through the Growing Hope project.
The scholarship that we received was a 500-hour. When we completed 500 hours, we would receive a $2,000 scholarship that was provided by North Rotary. I love those guys. Thank you guys so much.
That's San Bernardino, San Bernardino North Rotary Club.
Yes.
Yes.
And Crossroads as well. I think it was both. It was both of them, correct?
Yeah.
It was both of them.
Both.
Yeah. So I love both of them. All of them.
Okay, so I'm the president of the San Bernardino Sunset Rotary Club.
Oh.
So do you love us too?
I mean, that would have to depend. Can you buy me food?
How much money are you going to give me? So tell us about your high school experience.
My high school experience wasn't that well. I had a lot of, well, for me personally, I had a lot of problems when it came to trying to understand what the professor or what the teacher say. What the teacher would say. I have a problem where I can't really read that well, or I can't intake information that well. And so when usually some people say like, okay, here's your assignment, try to read this, I'll just stare at it. And I'm just like, can you read this to me? I can't really read this at all.
So do you have dyslexia, or is it another processing difference?
It's the part that comes with ADHD. It's just I can't really focus, and like due to that, I just can't like understand what the words like they kind of jump out of the paper, and so like I'm just trying to scramble through. I'm like, okay, I know what this word means. Like I understand what the words mean. I'm like, but what does it mean in a sentence? And I just kind of like toss the papers everywhere.
So what are you doing to overcome that while you're in college?
Well, now in college, I think in San Andreas, like when I transferred over there, they helped me a lot. A lot of the professors. What's wrong with me? I'm not in college. Blah. Teaching. All the teachers there at San Andreas, they helped me. I got a one-on-one chance to talk with the English teachers that were there, and I made a lot of connections over there. And so they helped me how to overcome this obstacle that I've been going on for years on end, and it's been fun. They actually helped me a lot to grow and for me to actually enjoy reading, because usually I hate reading. So now I like it.
Yeah,
Not as much.
reading is fun.
It is, but it's a pain in my eyes because I just try to look at the words sometimes. I'm just like, you know what? I can't read today.
So, Alejandro, how about you?
Well, in order to go to San Andreas, some point in your first 2 years of high school, you've had to show some mistakes. I mean, that's what San Andreas is for, is a continuation school.
Mm-hmm.
But despite all of that, making mistakes and all that, San Andreas is a really good school because they really want you to succeed and they want you to move on with your future. And I feel like once I went there, actually right when I went there, I met Growing Hope, and I started presenting with him. I started doing projects with him, and just somehow they just randomly selected me. I don't know how, but
So what is Growing Hope for our listeners? So they understand what this program is at San Andreas.
Growing Hope is a program based off hydroponics to
Okay.
help students learn whatever field they want to help fit in with that.
So hydroponics, that's farming, right?
Yes.
But it's not out in a field. It's like in a laboratory.
In a certain way, yes. Usually you can actually put it inside a house. It doesn't matter what the conditions is, as long as the temperature and the humidity is in the right setting, you can actually put it anywhere inside the building. It's the basis of growing plants inside a pot netted culture, meaning that you would have pots with a type of soil or I like to call it the sponge, where you actually put the seed or plant in there and it'll grow. And inside the water, you add nutrients, and that's how you grow. You can't just throw a seed in, put it in the water. I'm like, okay, give me some lettuce. No.
So is it like science, or is it?
Yeah, in a certain way, yeah. It's a bit of science and it's a bit of God knows what, but it's
Okay.
a bit of that.
But it's hands-on though, right?
Yeah, it's
I mean-
hands-on,
Okay.
definitely.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
the
quite a
ultimate-
project. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I think the ultimate goal is just to help students figure out which career they want. Because
Okay.
we were the first interns that they've had. So, and now they have another one. But I think the ultimate goal is to help them figure out what career they want. That's one thing that they taught us is to go for a career that you're passionate about, that you truly want to do. And just help grow. And
So how did it help you guys? I mean, have you picked your direction? I mean, you've started at Valley College. Do you have a major? Do you have some career goal in mind now because of going through all this?
Yeah, I do. For me, we had the special ed kids. Oh, pardon. Oof. We had special ed kids to help us out.
Okay.
When we were harvesting, when we were just taking out all the plants and we were just cleaning the whole entire systems, I learned how to, along with help with the teacher for the kids, of course, I just learned how to have interactions with students, and then I started to have a slow passion. And also, like, I can connect with the special ed students because I can understand what they're going through in a similar way. And so that put me into the situation. I'm like, you know what? I think I can be an instructor or a teacher. And so
are you thinking about being a special ed teacher?
hopefully.
That's awesome. No, hopefully you're going to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what those kids need. They need people who have a passion for working with them, who want to be there to help, who don't view them in a negative light, but understand that we all have challenges, and you've obviously been through some real challenges yourself, and different, but real challenges, and so that gives you something to relate to them with, which is awesome.
So, it's interesting. Alejandro said, he talked about you get to San Andreas High School when you've made a mistake. We all make mistakes.
Yep.
And the thing about our comprehensive high schools is that they're huge. And for some kids, you get lost in that system. If you feel like nobody cares if you're there or not, it's really difficult to stay motivated. And they find themselves by the grace of God at San Andreas, where they really get to know their instructors. They really get to know the leadership on campus and get engaged with some programs that can put them back on track. So I think that you landed in the right place.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And that you all are on the right track. So we'll have to have you back. We are completely out of time. 10 minutes goes really, really fast. But you guys are awesome. How do people get more information about Growing Hope?
They have a website, growinghope.
Is it org?
Project.org. Growingupproject.org.
So, and Growing Hope, it's about farming, it's about energy, it's about sustainable living, and it's about giving kids some real life examples and experience for working in the real world. So thank you all, Alejandro and Brandon, right?
Yes.
Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having us.
And it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. President Trump says he isn't sure whether Defense Secretary Jim Mattis will leave his administration before he leaves the White House. Trump saying in an interview on CBS's 60 Minutes last night,
I think he's sort of a Democrat, if you want to know the truth. But General Mattis is a good guy. We get along very well.
Trump said that everyone eventually leaves. And royal expectations. Kensington Palace confirming today that Prince Harry and his wife Meghan have a baby on the way. It will be their first child. The baby's due next spring. Sears is hoping bankruptcy provides a path to survival. The 124-year-old company that once dominated retail in America is filing for Chapter 11 protection. Court papers list assets of $1 billion to $10 billion and liabilities between $10 and $50 billion. Sears expects to begin liquidation sales shortly. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Ontario, on the 60 eastbound at Archibald Avenue, an off-ramp has reopened. And in Ontario again on the 60 westbound before Milliken, an injury wreck is along the right shoulder. In Yucaipa on the 10 eastbound at Yucaipa Boulevard, an accident there has been cleared. And again in Ontario on the 10 westbound before Milliken, a wreck is in the center divider. Slow traffic is backed up from Cherry. The wind is really blowing out there, so be careful if you're in a high-profile vehicle, or better yet, why don't you wait till that wind dies down before you get where you're trying to go. My name is Erin Brinker. This has been KCAA's Traffic on 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. High wind warning for this morning. Sunny and breezy, a high of 76. Clear later this evening as a red flag warning continues, low 55. Sunshine Tuesday, high of 81. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California. KCAA, 102.3 FM, Riverside, 106.5 FM, Redlands, and the Legacy, 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
Sunrise Collision Center would like to remind everybody we are entrusted with a responsibility to raise and educate our children. Promise to get involved with your child's education by getting to know their teachers and friends, volunteering for special events, and even trying to help with homework. Let's show them school is cool and drugs are for fools. This reminder, courtesy of Sunrise Collision Center, who are always providing the best quality repairs and restoration techniques on your vehicle. To restore your vehicle with genuine parts and accessories, call Don Paulson and the qualified personnel at Sunrise Collision Center at 909-434-0500. That's 909-434-0500. Or visit sccfontana.net. That's sccfontana.net. That's Sunrise Collision Center, on the air because they care.
This election, the voters in the 42nd Assembly District have an amazing chance to finally be represented in Sacramento by someone who listens and cares.
I'm Denny Antoinette Mazingo. Vote for me November 6th.
Denny will reach across the aisle to work with the majority in Sacramento and give voters the voice they've been waiting for and need.
I will advocate and fight for universal health care, a path from college to career free of debt, a healthy business environment with abundant, well paying jobs, affordable housing for all, safe schools and communities, a transition program for 18-year-old foster care children. Seniors have to choose monthly on what life necessities they can afford, and we're going to change that.
Denny's a former military lawyer, a JAG. She will fight for you in Sacramento. Google Denny, D-E-N-I.
I'm Denny Antoinette Mazingo. I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Denny Antoinette Mazingo.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463. KCAA, where every day is a great day.
I've got another confession to make. I'm your fool. Everyone's got the chains to break, holding you. Were you born to resist or be abused? Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you? Is someone getting the best, the best?
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, FM 102.3. And, of course, you can find us at KCAAradio.com. Our podcasts are on iHeart. If you search for On The Brink on KCAA for the podcast, you will find our show. So excited to welcome to the show Tom Iceland. He's a nonprofit strategist, writer, and speaker, social entrepreneur, storyteller, do-gooder, and high-energy optimist devoted to helping your leaders become the best they can be so your organization can be the best it can be. And this is, of course, talking to nonprofit organizations, but also other businesses. Tom Iceland, welcome to the show.
Hey, well, thank you. What a great morning.
It is a little windy out there, but it is a beautiful, beautiful morning. So I got the opportunity to meet you at a recent nonprofit capacity building conference put on by the IECC, and it was really terrific. And you've written several books, and your story is so compelling. Can you tell us your story?
Well, back in the 80s, I was a stock options trader at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and I was one of those young kids that just had that wonderful opportunity, and I was in my 20s. And I wrote a pioneering piece of software. At the time, I had my own seat, traded my own money, and I was trying to figure out how to manage risk. And then some people heard about this program, and next thing you know, I wrote a larger program that managed multiple traders' risk and multiple derivative products. I know that's a little technical. And then a bank heard about it, and I sold it to a bank. And next thing you know, I was on top of the world. I had it all. I had the sports car and the toys, the vacation home in northern Wisconsin. And then I was invited to a Wolf of Wall Street-like party where there was, booze and drugs there, and I figuratively and literally drank and inhaled it all. And I wasn't a partier. I came from a very good family, conservative background in Wisconsin, and I woke up the next morning in a pool of drool about a millimeter away from death.
Wow.
And it was one of those wake-up calls that most people don't get a chance to answer. And I did. And when I sobered up, I sold all my toys and decided to spend the rest of my life in social service. So I went on to build some well-known nonprofits that you probably have heard of, from the Hunger Coalition to the Environmental News Network, Natural High, and probably best known as Higher Ground, at the time one of the most well-known organizations helping wounded veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. So here I am today. I go around, speak to around the country. My whole goal and passion is to help nonprofits do what they're doing, but do it better. And writing books, speaking, and just giving my heart back and being thankful for having a lease on life and just being grateful.
So I'm looking at your website, firstThingsFirst.biz, and I have to say, I love the pictures of you fly fishing and doing all the active things that you do. The Upper Midwest is gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, those pictures were taken in Montana and Idaho. That's where I lived for 15 years. But yeah, I'm a cheesehead. I grew up in Wisconsin, and I love to go back. My parents are there, and it's just a beautiful place. It's a great place to grow up. Just right now, right? The fall, it's like growing up in a Norman Rockwell picture.
So one of the differences that I found between nonprofit organizations and for-profit organizations is that in the nonprofit world, the idea of I don't want to say profit, but that kind of efficiency is kind of, or thinking about money is anathema to many organizations. They want to be, they're so mission driven that they forget they're also businesses. Have you encountered the same thing?
No, I think that it's changed a little. Yeah, that's a stereotype, I believe, a little bit. I think that people really get it now because it's such a competitive environment. I mean, 85% of the nonprofits, out of the 1.5 million nonprofits out there, have budgets less than $500,000, and 94% have budgets less than $2 million. And I can tell you that they are aware about how difficult it is to raise money. I mean, the top 400 nonprofits in this world here get 20% of all giving. Think about that. The top 400 nonprofits in the United States receive 20% of all giving. And an organization, let's say like USC, has hundreds of people raising money for them. Hundreds. And so it's really, really difficult. It's like David versus Goliath. And they get that. They realize how competitive it is. They're in a competitive environment with limited resources, limited time and money and skills and expertise. And that is why they're starting to realize that, hey, we just can't get by. We need to do what's right, not what's convenient or easy, and bring on and retain high-quality people who are truly, truly, authentically passionate to fulfill the mission, not just talk about it.
So what about this idea of overhead in a nonprofit that, you can't, one of the thing about USC having hundreds of people raising money for them, their overall operating budget is huge. So, it's a different kind of animal than if you're a local nonprofit with, let's say, $1 million budget or a $500,000 budget. If you have you're spending too much money on quote unquote overhead, then people frown on you. How do you get a balance there?
Oh, that's a great question. It comes up all the time. So what I like to say to people like that, like a donors, let's say you're raising money and they look at your 990 or your financials and they say, my gosh, you're spending a lot of money on overhead. And so I want to have a healthy discussion with them and help educate them. Because let's just take an example here. So let's say you bring on an executive director for $30,000. And for that, you're going to get someone with not a lot of experience, let's say. And they can only do so much. And I said to you, hey, Aaron, for $100,000, I can bring on an executive director who has a huge network of people, and it can raise $3 or $4 million because they know how to build a high-performance nonprofit. And then, so you're looking at this as an investment, not an expense. And if I went to you as a donor and said, hey, if we could raise $3 million in 3 years by investing in someone, but at that same time, when we look at our numbers this year, it's going to look like we spent a lot of money on overhead. Would you be willing to do it? And the donor would say, absolutely. And so part of this is saying, hey, if you are just spending a lot of money on overhead and it's not getting you impact, then it is an expense and you are wasting money. But if you're investing in programming, maybe you're investing in programming that's going to help you get more money, or you're investing in people that are going to help you get more money and go to that next level, then, hey, that's part of the education, is saying we're investing. Or even this, how about this? You want to buy a building because the building's going to help you do more. Maybe now open a soup kitchen that's going to open the opportunity to raise more money. But now you have to invest in the building, and if that's going to raise your expenses. But again, it's all about, is it an investment or is it an expense? And the nonprofits have to do a better job of educating donors and the public about that. And then also donors need to step up themselves and not be caught in and just go, oh, this blanket idea of that they're just spending money on overhead. And the big foundations understand that now, and many major donors do, wealthy donors, but it's usually kind of the mid-level donor or the uneducated donors who don't, and they look at those numbers. So that's my response there.
Well, and it's something that the nonprofit community has really worked to try to change, because in order, in order for people to know what you're doing, you have to have a marketing budget, and marketing is, quote, overhead, unquote. But if you don't tell people your stories, if you're not out there creating content, then people won't know you're there, and you'll never move beyond where you are today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, marketing is that's a big gray area, and organizations, they do, because their brand, right? It's the images and impressions and ideas that are formed and held in people's minds. And it's really important to create a strong brand, because, if you're sitting there and let's say you have an amazing mission, okay? Let's say you are this hunger relief organization in the middle of LA, and you're doing work that no one else is doing, but if they're not hearing your story, then what? But, with marketing, you can be creative, but you do, and meaning you can be creative in a way where you're going to grab attention, whether it's TV, radio, on the internet, but it's still really challenging because most people, again, most people, the executive directors, they're looking at their budgets and they're saying, we can't afford a marketing person. We're going to spend our money first on someone in the programmatic area of our organization, and then, of course, fundraising, and then marketing's always last. And so you have fundraisers doing the marketing, and they're usually not the best marketers, And so how do we get professional marketing? And one of my greatest suggestions is partner with a marketing firm, partner with a PR firm, partner with try to find board members who are working for these organizations so they can provide some of these services for free or at cost. And that's a great way to build your marketing department until you can get the budget you need. But it is true, it can be expensive, and it's also a very creative endeavor. Because even in fundraising, if you don't have people who are really great writers, and you're just bringing on people because you don't have the money, then your writing's going to reflect that. Your storytelling's going to reflect that, and it's going to be a challenge for you to raise money. So you really do need to think about, this is one of my biggest beefs, is this importance of when you think about bringing on, retaining the highest quality people you can. Because you can be patient, and you can find high-quality, competent people who are committed. And so many times when I work with nonprofits, they're just racing out and filling positions. So my encouragement to anyone listening is spend the time, be patient. You will find high-quality people at the price you can afford.
So you have workshops and you have written a couple of books. First, tell us about the books that you've written, and then tell us about how people can get involved in one of your workshops.
Okay, thank you. Well, I've written 6 books, so I'm not going to go through all those, but let me just choose 2. One is called First Things First, A Leadership Guide to Building a Gold Standard Nonprofit. And that is the book where I built it on a story when I took over Sun Valley Adaptive Sports, which was a bankrupt organization, and I turned it into a national brand, and how I did that, and how small emerging nonprofits can focus on doing what's right, not what's convenient or easy, to build the structures they need to build a high-performance nonprofit. So that's that book. Then I wrote another book recently, my most recent book, called Cloudburst, A Rainmaker's Guide to Fearless Fundraising and Exceptional Donor Stewardship. And this book is a how-to book. I wanted to write a book that hadn't been written before about how to raise money from individuals. Most people get this. Most people don't realize this, that 80% of all money that comes to charities comes from people. And 80% of that comes from face-to-face giving. So this idea is, how can we spend more time? I mean, we spend time with grants and galas, but you can spend thousands of hours on a gala and only raise, $10,000 or $20,000. That happens regularly.
It does.
And you can spend hundreds of hours on grants and never get funded. But you could spend those hundreds of hours or thousands of hours with your donors face-to-face. You're going to raise a lot more money. So spending that time in providing concierge service, going above and beyond and doing those things that are unexpectedly pleasurable, that is going to separate you, because that's how you can compete with the USCs of the world out there, is providing that personal service. Most organizations, remember, 50% of donors don't even make a second gift, and more than 90% don't even make a fourth-year gift. So it's not how many donors you put into your funnel, it's how many donors you retain. And the way you retain donors is spending time with them to make them feel emotionally connected and make them feel valued and appreciated for all the gifts, monetary and non-monetary, that they're providing. And that is the winning ticket, and that's what this book talks about.
So how do people find out more about you, sign up for one of your workshops, etc.?
Yes. Well, the workshops come about just that you can learn a lot about those either from my website, firstThingsFirst.biz. That's firstThingsFirst.biz. And also any of the local community nonprofit associations that you might be working with, whether it's the Nonprofit Management Association or any nonprofit management association. And I send out emails regularly, so go to my website, sign up for my email recipient list, and you'll find out about workshops in your areas or opportunities that I can work with your organization to help you them.
Well, Tom Iceland, thank you so much for joining us today. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting you at this conference. Your energy is fantastic, and I hope that everybody who's in nonprofit management or wants to be in nonprofit management gets your books and changes the world.
Oh, thank you. And I want to just say, anybody, all my books are at cost on my website versus Amazon, and that means you're going to get the latest edition. And get this, all the money for my books goes to nonprofits. I make no money on my books as well. So thank you so much, Erin, and thank you for all you're doing to help the nonprofit world do what it does better.
Thank you so much. So we've been talking with Tom Iceland. That is firstThingsFirst.biz. It's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
It's time to shop in the cool, relaxed comfort of the Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands, conveniently located on the I-10 freeway between the Alabama and Tennessee exits. Bring the kids too and watch them play in the only indoor fun center, High Five Indoor Playground, where parents are welcomed on the playground. Birthday celebrations are encouraged, so make plans for some great fun at the mall. More reasons why the Tri-City Center is called the Mall with a Heart.
This election, the voters in the 42nd Assembly District have an amazing chance to finally be represented in Sacramento by someone who listens and cares.
I'm Denny Antoinette Mazingo. Vote for me November 6th.
Denny will reach across the aisle to work with the majority in Sacramento and give voters the voice they've been waiting for and need.
I will advocate and fight for universal health care, a path from college to career free of debt, a healthy business environment with abundant well-paying jobs, affordable housing for all, safe schools and communities, a transition program for 18-year-old foster care children. Seniors have to choose monthly on what life necessities they can afford, and we're going to change that.
Denny's a former military lawyer, a JAG. She will fight for you in Sacramento. Google Denny, D-E-N-I.
I'm Denny Antoinette Mazingo. I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Denny Antoinette Mazingo.
Do you feel tired in the middle of the day? How about a boost? O2 for You helps boost your energy just when you feel you've had enough. This portable oxygen canister is simple to use. Just inhale, hold for a second, then exhale. Benefits include hangover relief, reduced stress and fatigue, and drives endurance at the gym and in intimate settings, if you know what I mean. For you smokers, you know who you are. O2 for You can possibly help you quit smoking. O2 for You also enhances focus for seniors. O2 for You is featured in the newly released major motion picture Limelight, starring Paul Vandervoort, Jenna Jameson, and Jonathan Lipnicki. Stream Limelight on Google Play, Amazon, and iTunes. Call 877-720-7553. That's 877-720-7553, 877-720-7553 right now, or visit them at buyo2foryou.com. That's BUYO, the number 2, the number 4, the letter U.com.
Visit your local Baker's drive-thru restaurant this month and get an Easter Seals Safe Halloween booklet for just $1. You'll receive over $400 in coupons and make a life-changing difference in the lives of kids and adults with disabilities in the Inland Empire. 100% of the proceeds support Easter Seals services in your community. No trick. Learn more at easterseals.com/Southern Cal.
Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you always tired and worn out? Is it affecting your work and personal life? Well, South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out. South Pacific Sleep Lab provides a personal study of your sleep patterns. With their trained specialists, they will diagnose your sleep habits and will give you a prognosis for getting a great relaxing night of sleep. South Pacific Sleep Lab has locations throughout Southern California, including Fontana, and will provide transportation to any of their locations at no cost to you. To find out more, give them a call at 844-SAD-5050. That's 844-SAD-5050. South Pacific Sleep Lab. Start resting easy and sleeping sound today.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we're on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So enjoyed that interview with Tom Iceland.
Right? Great interview.
Great interview. And you know, when I met him, I was just impressed with him and his energy and his presence and his knowledge. And he's very straightforward. So,
yeah.
You know, I appreciate that as well. So, so Tobin.
Yes. We got another Me Too moment going on here, and you found this story about a professor from UC Irvine, and I don't know when we're going to figure out exactly where the line is for what's acceptable and not acceptable behavior, but apparently there's a professor at Irvine. He's an older guy. He's 83 years old, and some of the younger female professors there felt that he was sexually harassing them, and they go on to describe all this stuff, and he has a completely different take on it. He's an Italian guy. And he talks,
or Spanish. Is he Italian or Spanish?
Did I get it wrong? I'm not sure. Spain. Yeah, right. Okay. So he believed that he was showing these women admiration, respect, and his courtly manners because he would give them a hug and a kiss on the cheek. But they're saying that it was more than that. That it made them feel different, and that like they couldn't get away from him. And you had women that were going to events where he was going to be at and taking a male friend along and things like this. And so the women won their lawsuit, and this guy, who is quite acclaimed and actually had given $11.5 million in donation to the university, had his whole presence sort of erased over there. He was resigned. He was forced to resign. He was banned from the campus, stripped of all of his University of California titles, and had his name taken off of all of the buildings that he helped to support.
Oh my goodness!
Right, but he never forced these women to have sex with him. He never, you know what I mean? I mean the kinds of things they describe, and the other thing too is, except for one of the women, the others never said a word to him directly. They never said to him, "Oh, don't do that," or "That makes me feel uncomfortable," you know.
Or "I'm not a hugger." Yeah,
or something. You know. Anyway, it's fascinating. It's really divided the whole educational community over whether this is, whether this was handled properly. And the main thing is that they feel like it was an overreaction to what he was doing.
Well, especially if he didn't know, especially if he did not realize. First of all, he grew up in a different time. He grew up in a different country. If that boundary had never been set for him, how in the world was he supposed to know?
Yeah.
Some cultures, and our work with AFS really showed this, some cultures are very touchy.
Yes,
meaning
they are.
not touchy as in being emotionally sensitive. I mean, they'll grab
physical.
your arm. They're very demonstrative.
Yes.
And other cultures are not. And so if that boundary is not set, if you didn't tell them, I'm not really comfortable with that, or I'm so sorry, I'm not a hugger, that how was he supposed to know?
Yes. And they also sometimes will stand much closer to you. Their idea of personal space is very different. There's a whole bunch of issues here. But this guy lost everything. And of course, he's 83, 84 years old. Probably saying, well, he's close to retirement anyway. But to go out like this,
Yeah, I don't understand. I hope that this is insane, and it's going to create an environment where men and women are afraid to work together.
Yeah, well, I think I work in a primarily female-dominated industry. I'm a public school teacher, and it really, as a man, it makes you think. There's a whole list of things that you should never, ever, ever talk about. You should never, ever, give a hug or whatever. Unless they initiate, and even then, you kind of maybe run the risk.
So we're gonna talk about this more tomorrow, because this is a really important topic, and if not tomorrow, then later this week, because I want to bring on a mental health professional to talk about this as well. I'm Erin Brinker,
and I'm Tobin Brinker,
and we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll see you tomorrow.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC. According to a new CNBC poll, optimism is at a record